Hello everyone and welcome to NFL Discussion. I'm your host and NFL enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing 3 games from the Sunday slate of action, week 9 of the 2023 season. So the international series resumed. We had the first game in Frankfurt, Germany between the Dolphins and the Chiefs, and next week will be the finale of the international series of another game in Frankfurt between the Colts and the Patriots. You had CJ Stroud putting on an epic performance down in Houston, and I think NFL fans and Panthers fans wondering about whether or not Bryce Young was the right pick for the Panthers. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with the Miami Dolphins, who are still waiting on that signature win that would gain them some respect among AFC contenders. And before Kansas City and Miami kicked off in Germany, there was a question about a potential power shift in the AFC. The Dolphins have a track meet scoring offense that beats up on lesser opponents, but it doesn't quite stack up against teams with a winning record. They lost by double digits to the Bills and Eagles. On Sunday, they fell behind 21-0 by halftime, but rallied in the second half, only to fall short. While it is a bit strong to call the Dolphins pretenders because of their elite offense and 6-3 record, they still need that signature win over a playoff contender for anyone to take them serious as a threat in the postseason, as a contender. So yeah, as it stands right now, Miami is still a good football team, but when you think about the great teams in the AFC, Miami just doesn't quite match up. And here they had a chance to get a signature win against one of the premier teams in the AFC in Kansas City, and just couldn't do it. So I guess we shall see if they can get that win. But as it stands right now, Miami is a playoff team, but it doesn't look like they're going to get very far in the postseason. Kansas City Chiefs. And while their offense might not be so good, their defense is better, and that defense is what's going to keep the Chiefs on top. So last week, Patrick Mahomes didn't fare well in his flu game, and the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, which stirred up some concerns about the reigning champions. Through 8 weeks, the Chiefs have ranked 12th in scoring, yet on Sunday in Germany, they knocked off the Dolphins, who have the number 1 offense in scoring and total yards. In the end, safety Brian Cook's 59-yard fumble recovery made a huge difference in the outcome. The Chiefs left Frankfurt Stadium with a 21-14 victory. As of Sunday, Kansas City has its lowest scoring offense during Mahomes' years as a full-time starter, but they also had the highest ranked scoring defense in that span. Against the Dolphins, Mahomes would throw for a season low 185 yards. Consequently, skeptics will have their questions about the lack of firepower in Kansas City's aerial attack. Those questions are justified, but Kansas City has the Chiefs' stingy defense will allow them to maintain a stronghold on the top spot in the AFC, and also KFC has beaten 2 of the top 4 teams in the AFC, one of them being the Dolphins, and the other one being the Jaguars, and that defense held them to 14 points or fewer. So yes, the offense and the lack of playmakers on it is certainly an issue, but when their defense plays like they did against the Dolphins, it just doesn't seem to matter. It seems like the Chiefs are just going to get a win. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that pass defense, man, it cost them this game, it's cost them other games, and it's probably going to cost them more games. As a rookie, Stroud looks a lot more impressive than Baker Mayfield ever has looked under center, so the latter will get criticism even though he had a decent outing. Nonetheless, the Buccaneers' pass defense has regressed in terms of total yards allowed from last year's unit. Over the previous 2 offseasons, the Buccaneers have re-signed Carlton Davis and Jim Aldine, their starting quarterbacks. They even field a solid defensive front with Shaquille Barrow and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Vita Vea. Yet Tampa Bay ranked 26th in pressure rate, and gave up the fifth most passing yards through the first 8 weeks of the season. On Sunday, Stroud shredded the unit in his best pro outing. To make matters worse, Dean would exit the game with a concussion. Todd Bowles has got to do something to show up the glaring defensive weakness through the air, or else the Buccaneers' playoff hopes will fade in the next couple of weeks. In Week 10, typically will face a Titans team that may have an ascending rookie caller, Will Levis. So yeah, that pass defense got the better of them here. Definitely an area to shore up as well. Houston Texans, and CJ Stroud is the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Hell, you might as well just give him the award after his performance. As he threw for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns in an electrifying win over the Buccaneers, he vaulted himself into front-runner position for the the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Stroud wins the award. Sunday's performance has multiple plays to put in that highlight reel against the veteran defensive play caller and head coach Todd Bowles' unit. The rookie single caller looked great in his best game in the campaign. For the season, Stroud has thrown for 14 touchdowns and just 1 interception with a 62% completion rate. Beyond the numbers, Stroud has also played a big role in the Texans' surprising 4-4 start to the season. So yeah, I did get a chance to watch that game winning drive, and the throws that he made to the Tank Dell, man, were certainly impressive. CJ Stroud, it is fun watching that guy play football. Indianapolis Colts. Kenny Moore was the MVP for the Colts in this game against the Panthers, and in all honesty, he has earned his contract extension, but with the performance he put on against the Panthers, he makes an even stronger case for that contract extension, and maybe even drove up the price. During the Colts' 3-game losing streak, opponents scored at least 37 points in each and averaged 353.3 yards per game. The Panthers would manage only 275 yards, with the Colts forcing 3 turnovers and sacking Bryce Young 4 times. Kenny Moore proved to be the MVP for the team, as I said. Typically, a strong defensive performance against one of the league's worst teams doesn't mean much. For the Colts, though, this effort was necessary after last week when they got shredded by Derek Carr and the Saints. Also, Indianapolis showed its mettle without the NFL's leading tackler, Zaire Franklin, and top corner Juju Brents for the Colts. Young scrambling served as the Panthers' only real threat. Otherwise, the Colts played sound defense and basically shut down a struggling offense. In this instance, the unit dug deep and won a game. Moore came up big with 2 pick sixes. He became the first in franchise history to do so. The cornerback's displeasure of his current contract extends back to last year when he orchestrated the hold-in that, didn't lead to a new contract. He's still searching for that new deal, and Sunday's performance is a prime example of what he means to the Colts. With inexperienced corners flanking him, he's been a steady presence. He scored 1 more touchdown Sunday than the offense did. The Colts are always open to paying their homegrown talent. A bounce-back season by the team's nickel with a game-winning performance of the Panthers shows exactly why the Colts should give him a new deal. He has earned it. Carolina Panthers. Did they pick the wrong quarterback in the draft? That is the question right there. Through 9 weeks in the season with a 1-8 record, anyone watching the Panthers would be justified in asking that question, or even thinking that the Panthers picked the wrong guy. Carolina, it is fair. It's also fair to think Carolina should take C.J. Stroud instead of Bryce Young. As well. But what I will say is patience is always necessary when it comes to young quarterbacks. Each develops at a different rate, but the juxtaposition of what Young did Sunday compared to Stroud is not even close. On the same day that Stroud broke the single-game rookie record of 470 passing yards and led the Texans to a last-minute victory, Young looked out of sorts, throwing 3 bad interceptions and didn't really display the natural feel for the position that made him the top pick. Stroud is well on his way to being named Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Panthers, meanwhile, are one of the league's worst teams yet again. To make matters worse, the first-round pick the Panthers sent to the Bears in that trade for the number 1 pick to get Young. Well, that's currently the number 2 overall pick, and they don't have it. As sure as the sun rises, excuses will commence. They'll probably fall somewhere in line with the Panthers not having good enough supporting cast, but that argument kind of falls short when you think about what the Texans have been doing. They had a worse record last year than the Panthers did. They also hired a brand new coaching staff and still have more wins this season than they did last season, so they have improved. From this point forward, the Panthers must do what's necessary to get the most out of Young. The organization does have some potential winnable games ahead of it, with the Bears, Titans, and Buccaneers serving as 3 of their next 4 opponents. 2 of those will also feature rookie quarterbacks, and Young will get a chance to show it against a struggling Tampa pass defense. And if he doesn't do that, then it could be a long off season in Carolina. So yeah, again, if anybody thinks it's understandable. Do I think they picked the wrong quarterback in the draft? No, I don't. I mean, listen, it has not been good And when CJ Stroud's balling out the way that he is, it doesn't help matters. But with that being said, I'm not going to write this guy off just because he had a bad rookie season. It's not good, but I gotta see more out of him, and I think he should. I mean, I don't see how the Panthers move on from him anyway after all that they gave up for him. So I think he's going to get at least the second, maybe even third season figured out. But yeah, I don't think the answer to that question is yes. But even though he's had a bad rookie season, yeah, I don't think the answer is yes. And with that will conclude this episode of NFL Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.